All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the ultimate 2026 Generative AI Roadmap. If you've been sitting there feeling like a totally confused novice, stick around because we're going to transform you into a confident builder. Look, the AI landscape is shifting incredibly fast, right? So knowing exactly how to learn, having a map, is basically your ultimate competitive advantage. So let's kick things off by asking a pretty critical question. Why do so many highly motivated people just hit a total brick wall after maybe a month of trying to learn I mean, it's a field with literally endless potential, but so many folks just stall out almost immediately. Well, the villain here isn't a lack of drive or your work ethic, it's information overload. It's that chaotic sea of tutorials where you find yourself jumping randomly from watching, say, a PhD level transformer video straight back to struggling with basic Python loops. It's exhausting. You end up trapped in what we call tutorial hell, burning months of your life just relearning things in the wrong order without actually building a single thing. To cure this, today's explainer is going to act as your ultimate map. We'll be looking at escaping AI information overload, tackling the foundations of programming and ML, digging into the core of LLMs and prompts, exploring applied AI with agents and RAG, achieving mastery through fine-tuning, and finally, avoiding those common learning traps. All right, Section 1, Escaping AI Information Overload. Let's see exactly how adopting a structured learning path completely removes the guesswork and actually keeps you moving forward. Think of this as your builder's journey. What we're doing here is chunking 12 individual steps into 4 highly logical zones where each concept neatly stacks right on top of the one before it. We go from foundations to the engine to application and finally mastery. Doing it this way takes a vague, super overwhelming goal and turns it into a series of really achievable milestones. Moving on to Section 2, Foundations, Programming and Machine Learning. This is where you build the absolute bedrock required before you ever even touch a large language model. Now, the crucial point here is that you've got to build this mental map sequentially. You need to grasp practical data coding, understand how models actually learn from data through basic machine learning, and then see how neural networks process complex patterns with deep learning. And hey, don't worry, you definitely don't need heavy math on day one. But getting this intuition down first, absolutely vital for literally everything that follows. And let's establish an absolute truth right here. Python is the undisputed language of AI. You don't have to be a full-stack software engineer. Scratch that. You don't even need to be close to one. But getting hands-on, daily practice with Python variables, loops, and data structures is just non-negotiable for this entire road trip. Put simply, if you aren't writing code, you aren't really learning. Okay, Section 3, the core, LLMs and prompts. Let's get into the true heart and engine of modern generative AI. This is where you'll study the actual architecture under the hood, things like transformers and tokens. And that's immediately followed by the incredibly high leverage skill of prompt engineering. You'll be learning how to craft system prompts and few-shot instructions, which, by the way, is really just giving the AI a few examples to follow, so you can get reliable, top-notch results every single time. Now, what's really fascinating about this transition is that mastering prompts prepares you for a massive identity shift. You stop just casually chatting in a browser window and you start calling models programmatically through your code. At this point, you're no longer just a passive consumer of AI, you're officially building with it. It's a real game changer. That brings us to Section 4, Applied AI, Agents and RAG. It's time to see where your skills leap off the page into real-world utility. In this zone, you'll be authenticating APIs and orchestrating multi-step tasks using AI agents and frameworks like LangChain. Think of LangChain as the conductor of your AI orchestra, right? And finally, you'll tackle the absolute massive challenge of getting LLMs to actually read your private data. You'll do this using vector databases, which are these clever tools that store text as searchable numbers. Now, RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, is the absolute backbone of almost every real-world AI assistant out there today. And why is that? Well, LLMs don't magically know your company's private documents, and we all know their training data gets cut off at a certain date. RAG bridges that gap. It grabs exactly what the model needs to know, precisely when it needs to know it, giving you a grounded, perfectly accurate answer. Next up is Section 5, Mastery, Fine-Tuning, and Projects. We're diving into the final polish, where you actually prove you aren't just learning theory, but shipping real projects. Here, you'll be adapting existing models to your specific style and really exploring the wider ecosystem of image and audio tools. It all culminates in deploying a true portfolio piece. Honestly, building an end-to-end project like your own custom-tuned assistant is the whole shebang. It's exactly what separates the folks who just read about AI from the highly paid builders who actually create it. But a quick word of warning here. Fine-tuning should almost always be the absolute last tool you reach for. A lot of problems can be solved much, much more cheaply and efficiently with just better prompts or RAG. Fine-tuning is incredibly powerful for sure, but knowing exactly when to use it, that's what makes you a master. Finally, let's jump into Section 6, Avoiding Common Learning Traps. Let's look at how different learners experience this roadmap and the common pitfalls that can totally derail your progress. You see, this roadmap completely scales to your experience level. If you're a beginner, you really must be patient. You need to water your foundation, building up that math and coding intuition over several months. But if you're already an advanced coder, you can strap on a rocket pack and sprint directly into building multi-component apps. You just have to be brutally honest about where your starting line is so you don't end up frustrating yourself. Regardless of where you start, respect the sequential order. Don't go skipping straight to large language models if you haven't grasped basic machine learning yet. You've got to step off the hamster wheel of endless video tutorials without actually writing your own code. And please stop chasing every shiny new AI tool that drops on social media. Master those basics first. If you take away just one thing from our explainer today, make it this. Consistency matters far, far more than speed. Taking a steady, project-driven approach over, say, 6 to 12 months is always going to beat scattered, panicked cramming. Sure, AI tech moves blindingly fast, but the foundational principles, they simply don't change. Patience is your greatest asset here. So, with the master map now firmly in your hands, the only question left is the most exciting one. What incredible application are you going to choose to build at the end of your journey? Will it be a document Q&A assistant, a customer support bot, or maybe something the world has quite literally never seen before? The tools are waiting. So, what are you going to build?